shall we come to you to choose one thing? Bring one thing to the table.
I'll go with The Witcher because I know that Holly's watched that. Then we can both do The Duchess when she's finished that one off.
Okay.
So, yeah, The Witcher: Blood Origin is a origin story for The Witcher.
Whoa!
There, that's
You
a surprise. You don't
say.
It's not as long as The Witcher. I think there's only. I'm trying to think. Was it four or six
Four
episodes?
I think.
Four
There's
episodes.
4 episodes, yeah.
And unlike The Watcher, it's not very good. I really rate The Witcher. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know. I couldn't see the point of this story really, because it's a blood origin or an origin story should basically give you a bit of insight into what happens, how these events affect later events. And I could not. For me, for the whole time I was watching this series, I was trying to connect these events to what happens in the future, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But basically, what it comes back to is the singer in The Witcher. His Jack. I can't remember his name. Jaxa.
I can't remember. I just remember the song. I don't remember his name.
The singer in it. Anyway, he sort of meets this sort of elf, and she tells him a story of how it all began. How before this convergence of all the worlds, when all these creatures and humans and elves and dwarves and how they all became all muddled up onto this one world. Before that, all these different worlds were separate. And it's telling the story of how this convergence happened. And you meet these different characters, all elf kind, who have to do stuff. And there's this and they have like this quest type thing. Again, it's like one of those, it's like stuff about stuff. So they so you meet these characters, and yeah, none of them are very.
I can see you so close to saying the words thingamajigger and the what's it and the whoojamacallit.
And the whoojamacallit, yeah.
Because I know they set out to do this quest. I'm thinking, it's only been like a week since I've watched it. I'm thinking, what do they have to do again? Why would they all go into that one place to do that one thing, to stop that other thing? And so it's all that sort of. So they have this sort of Magnificent Seven where you end up, as over the episode, these sort of people, they start off with like this one guy who's kicked out of the palace because he's been having a relationship with the emperor's daughter or sister. And then there's a massive coup, and then she becomes the empress. And so he's been discarded, but then they say, no, you've got to go back because there's stuff going on. Can't remember what. Then he meets up with this another person from another clan who's walked away from the clan because it was like too violent for her, but she decides to come back and like rediscover her violence, her true gift for violence. Then there's someone else joins them who's a bit cross about something, and then there's someone else joins them because they're upset about something else, and they all just do stuff. So to me it didn't make any sense. I couldn't see what the point of it was. So it was,
Well, yeah. Okay, I've got to be honest with you. I always, whenever they have a prequel series and they go, oh, we're going to go hundreds of thousands of years into the past, I just, my soul lets out a massive,
why?
Because I'm like, okay, why? It's not even going to link up. What is the point? All I got, and so when I heard about this, it didn't really have. I didn't really have that much of it. So, like in the first season of The Witcher, we had this whole inventing this nest thing where you're watching it and you're going, hang on, what's going on? It's not until about episode 4 or 5 that you figure out, oh, that's what's happening.
Yeah, and it was we all went, wow. Yeah. But there was none of the revelations were, and you know what, there's some of the things I'm thinking, I just can't work out what's going on here. It wasn't clear and obvious what the point of this was. So for me, it lacked in storytelling, it lacked in focus, it lacked in motivation. So that one quest, I thought, what are you trying to do again? So it left me a bit cold, really. So, but what did you think, Holly? Because you saw it as well.
I very much agree with what you said. I thought,
but she gives it 4 stars.
But I do not give 4 stars. It was, not terribly well acted. Somewhat incoherent, quite incoherent actually. It took some real thinking to try to work out what the hell was going on and why. You missed out there was a monster, so the monster is part of it.
Oh, a monster. Yes, there was a monster.
wow.
Yeah.
There was a monster.
No.
Oh
How
dear.
bad is that? Sharon has forgotten it. The
I've
show's
forgotten
so
the
bad.
monster.
The show is so bad the show is so bad that Sharon has forgotten a whole monster.
Yeah, and defeating the monster is a part of why they're doing this. So,
Oh, I see. Okay.
so I
I
think
thought it
that
was like by that point I just gave up caring.
that illustrates the level of coherence. There are monsters as well. Oh, and Lenny Henry's in it as an evil wizard.
Oh.
As a mage, is an evil mage. Yeah.
I think evil wizard sounds funny when talking about Lenny Henry.
He-
though.
Yeah.
He
It
was
was-
he was in that Rings of Power as well, wasn't
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
Clearly doing his serious acting.
he? Really?
Well, I mean, insofar as
Yeah.
it was sort of guilty pleasure viewing though, because it was rubbish. But I did watch because it was only 4 episodes. I did watch it a second time to see if I could make more sense of it, and it did improve with a second watch.
Okay. I just watched it the first time and I was sort of having to resist to like, can I get away with reading my book while watching it? And that was one of those things.
I did a lot of games of solitaire and things on my iPad whilst watching it. It did not capture a huge amount of my attention,
Yeah.
so I give it a 2, and I'm probably being a bit generous with a 2, but
I would go with
and that's after you watched it twice.
that's after I've watched it twice. It was
and it
still
improved on view.
yeah.
I would give it a 2 as well because I think, it was meh, but it wasn't dreadful all the way through. It had moments of dreadfulness and it had moments of like, that looked quite impressive. There's the effects or the way they'd filmed it. I thought, oh, that's quite nice. I didn't understand the geography. The geography of where they were traveling made no sense whatsoever.
Absolutely stumped. No clue.
Yeah, because it was like one minute they're tramping through mountains, the next it was like in the winter, then it would be like walking through fields in the summer. I'm thinking, are they crossing continents or what's going on here? So the geography made no sense at all. So there are moments where it looked nice, where obviously they filmed this scene thinking, oh, this looks good, without it sort of joining up at the gap. So I would give a 2. I just couldn't give it any more than a 2.
They tried. Well done for trying.
Oh, bless.
I heard about this.
In it.
I heard about this show. One of the things was that apparently this show was supposed to be 6 episodes, and then they cut it down to 4, which seems to make sense of some of the incoherence and the fact that like things seem to happen already too quickly and all that. But hey, well, that's part of the business of making TV, I guess, in the background. Okay, so that's 2 stars for The Witcher Blood Origin.